asshole. On the 14th floor where the bathroom door don't lock. So happy we don't gotta worry about the cops. We could all get arrested for this, but when the police mix, I don't give a shit tonight. Alright. Now she walks in the bedroom fast, despite all the noise from the crowd. Now she's bedless on the bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Gets on a deed and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome in to episode 212 of Fire to Sports. Check us out at firetosports.com. I'm Mike Gillotto. Joining me as always, Mark Ramos. What's going on, Mark?
Oh man, same old. Getting ready for a wedding over
Yep.
here, and
In
this
the home stretch now.
yeah, this home stretch this coming weekend. So, a welcome distraction after everything that's happened over the last couple weeks.
Yes, exactly. Get your mind off the Phillies and the Eagles for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
That I guess we can kind of get right into it. Obviously, when we were coming into the sorry, there's a spider in the corner that I'm gonna have to try to fight off live during the show. So we'll see what happens there. But so when we were doing our last show, they were down 2-0, and things kind of felt like it wasn't gonna happen, and they were kind of dead. And we were basically, it was a eulogy of the season unofficially. But now we can officially have the eulogy done, right? We can finally talk about the failures of this team. I guess what's next. Any changes, if any changes. I mean, it's been kind of reported that Thompson's coming back. They're going to have a press conference, I believe, on Thursday to kind of officially announce that. Mentally, where are you at with this Phillies team?
Drained.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think still pretty mad. I know I said last show I was pretty mad at them as we were kind of preparing for this, because it was kind of, even though they had hung on and won a game, just the way I think the whole series went with the Dodgers, it kind of looked like even if they found a way somehow in that game 4, I just don't know how they come home. Even coming home, knowing that they hadn't really had any success there in recent games, it just didn't seem surmountable.
And obviously we got to talk about it. The one of the worst defensive plays I've seen in the history of the sport by Orion Kerkering. I mean, I'm not going to say Kerkering's the reason they lost to the series, or Kerkering is even the reason they lost that game, but it's quite a shitty way to end their season.
Yeah, it was. I think, yeah, you're right. I mean, it wasn't the reason they lost.
One of them. You could say it's one of them.
Yeah, for sure. It was one of them. There was a lot of stuff, though, that happened in that series. And unfortunately, that's how, sports go. Sometimes guys end up getting something like that happens, and then that's the lasting impression. And it was very clear. I mean, it was very clear what happened.
The moment was too big for him. That's really the only thing you can kind of say there.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
He went to pick up the ball, and I think he kind of like didn't get a handle on it, and he just panicked. And,
once he wasn't able to get it cleanly, he just panicked.
Yeah,
he just went in panic mode.
And from the other angles, JT's yelling, he's pointing the first, but I'm sure he's also directing traffic, like first, I'm sure he's talking to him, in addition to pointing. Um, and Pages wasn't even running hard out of the box. I mean, I think he thought, you know,
Had
it
the
was going to
right.
be,
Yeah.
it was going to be routine, um, and it was anything but it was, I thought he equipped himself pretty well afterwards. That's a tough, to go and answer questions and stuff. That's hard, but he took it on the chin. So I have more respect for him. He is young, 24 years old. So, hopefully he's got a long career ahead of him, and you know, but that's the type of thing that stays with a franchise. That'll stick out in Philly's lore for a long time.
Yeah, and this may be like the fan in me, or the I don't even know the right term to say, but like I think there's a time and place for like Turner's ovation, right? Like I like that in the moment I think made sense. And I'm hearing people saying to do the same for Kirkering the first time he takes a mound in 2026. And the evil fan inside of me says absolutely not. I just watched you literally throw away our chance at winning a series. You're getting paid obviously a lot of money to play a game, and as a fan I root for you game in game out, edge of my seat all the time, be through the lows and the highs, and I just watch you make that brain dead of a play. I'm not giving you any sort of ovation. Like, it's not happening.
Yeah, I don't. That needs to be earned.
Yeah.
I think um, we're getting we're getting a little liberal with the
Yeah.
standing O's here. Like I
Yeah.
think you know, uh, yeah, I if you want to give him a little cheer, that's cool. But I
Yeah.
mean,
It's
like to
still
do
too
the
far.
full
I
blown,
almost want him to get booed off the mound.
someone people will. I think
Yes.
people will.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, that comes with the territory too. I
Yep.
think, and um, I'm telling you, man. I think like right away, which I've already kind of seen, with them already announcing. I thought it was odd that they decided so early to be like, yeah, Rob's coming back.
Hmm.
I just, even if you know that internally, I feel like you kind of want to let some of this blow over for a little while before you then go do that. Like they came out right away.
Hmm.
And, depending on what happens this winter, I could end up being really checked out by next spring. I
Yep.
mean, I'm not penciling any. There's a lot of fanfare about some Phillies prospects and things like that. I'm not penciling any prospects in until I see them in spring, earning a role on this team. I'm beyond that at this point, of just like simply penciling a guy in and then not having any kind of fallback plan, and also tell us at the same time that they're planning on competing for a playoff spot. Like that's not going to work for me this year. Um, they've used up a lot of goodwill, I think, and it, it's deserved. I mean, it's really deserved at this point.
Yeah, and then with him coming back, my mind goes to, well, he's got 1 year left on his deal, and how often do you see a lame duck coach in the final year of his deal? Does Thursday's press conference come with like an extension, which would be batshit insane to me?
Oh, geez,
You
that
know,
would
like
yeah.
it just doesn't happen. I feel like these GMs and these coaches don't like to go into a situation or continue a situation in the final year of their deal. Just doesn't
Well, how
happen. You either get fired or extended.
how many times though do you see teams? This happens in sports. I feel like somewhat like where there's a lot of heat on a coach or a manager. Someone in the front office of influence is like, well, let's give them the first half.
Sure. Yep.
The team comes out, they stumble out of the gate, and the guy gets canned.
Hmm.
That happens too. Um, I agree with you. I think an extension would be crazy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
This is a results oriented business.
Yes.
And it's like, if you're going to, based on the track record to this point, if you're going to like come out and be like, yeah, Rob back with a 3-year deal, it's like, what do we, all right. I mean, that seems, It sounds like there's going to be changes to the coaches, the hitting coach. That sounds like something that's definitely going to happen. And where we're not anywhere near yet, looking at what's going to happen with this roster yet. Although I sent to you guys right before the show the story from the Inquirer. Scott Lieber, I think, wrote that, and Schwarber's apparently looking for a 5-year deal.
Come up with that. See you later.
Yeah, for a DH.
Yeah.
Come on, 30. Yeah. He's 33 years old.
Right.
Like that's kind of, that makes the decision easy for you, I think.
Yeah, and it's a guy. Listen, we all know how great of a year Schwarber had. It's the best year of his life in a contract year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like next year, you're going to be paying for that sort of production for another 5 years, and will he do it again?
Yeah, and I think for teams like in the Phillies predicament and all, this goes for any sport really, and we've seen this happen with the Eagles over their championship caliber teams and stuff like that. Sometimes, right, and in most cases, right, when a guy performs, you have to pay him. Like it's just what you do. But when you're an executive, like a front office executive, sometimes you got to win deals and you got to know when to walk away. You have to know when to find value, and he's 33 years old. He's coming off a career year. I don't know that I want to pay him right after that and hoping he can do it again.
Yep.
Another year older and another year older and so on and so forth. So they're going to have to find, whether it's in free agency or trades or whatever, they're going to have to find some guy. They're going to have to find some value. Like if this thing's going to stay competitive and be a playoff team again, I guess if Rob's back, I'm assuming Dombrowski's going to be back as well. So it'll be up to him to, win some of these deals and find some good value deals, kind of like he did with Bader, bringing in Bader and him having an impact like he did. He was missed in that series against the Dodgers. They could have used him.
Sure. Yep.
They're going to need to find more value like that moving forward to kind of hopefully push this thing to the next level. But I mean, they're going to have to make some. There's got to be at least 2 contracts on these books moving. At least 2.
Yeah. Schwarber, again, with that demand, even if honestly, I'm at the point where like they've failed so miserably the last like 2 years, 3 years, that I don't even if it's a 2 or 3 year deal, I think I'm out. I think I'm out on Schwarber. Yeah, I think you got to change something. So like, I would use that money. Get rid of that money, obviously, and then you got to. I mean, I think the writing's on the wall with Castellanos, so that he's gone. So right there, that's what 40, 50 million that you could spend right there with those 2 guys gone.
Yeah.
Bring in a guy like Alonso. I know. Listen, as a Philadelphia sports fan, like I get the hesitation when people say Pete Alonso. Like I get it. I hate him as a Met. I get it, but I think he's the right guy for this lineup. I really do.
In that ballpark too. I mean, he played Citi Field's a big park.
Yep.
And
then you kind of just like have him and Bryce kind of alternate between DH and first base. They could just kind of swap in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what I would do is, maybe put Bader in like right field, and maybe what's his name? Crawford can be like, hopefully he can come up and be an everyday center fielder kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then left field, I guess you could put Marsh back in there. He was decent enough in the second half, or like maybe he finds a little bit of that, although he was absolutely abysmal in the Dodger series.
Yeah.
And then another move I would make is I would trade Stott for like a really good bullpen arm. Because like I think Stott has value because he's like a really, really good defensive second baseman. I would trade him for a really good bullpen arm. You send not Marsh. You send Strahm to the moon. I don't care where you send Strahm. See you later. And then you move Turner to second base, Aiden Miller at shortstop. And then this is where things can get fun. Because third base, I'm kind of over Alec Bohm too. Trade him for somebody. I don't know if starting pitcher, reliever, backup catcher. I don't care. And then you sign Alec Bregman. I just fixed the Phillies. There you go.
There you go. It's that easy.
Yes. Dave Dombrowski. There you go. John Middleton, call me and I will be the GM of the Phillies.
Yeah.
I'm much cheaper than Dave Dombrowski.
Yeah. No, I mean, like you mentioned Castellanos, right? In that, part of that retool.
Mhm.
And so that was the first thought I had when I saw the Thompson news. I was like, well, there goes any chance of Nick coming back. I mean, I don't know why you would want to even entertain that again after, especially because it's become public now. Like everybody knows it, that there's friction there. And I don't know why you would want to have that in your dressing room again. Another season where they're going to, grade on each other and whatever else.
Yeah, and he only has 1 year left. Like that contract's much easier to move when you have 1 year left on it.
Sure. And maybe you can get something back that can help you. Like, or I'm saying, like, finding value in deals where, someone takes that contract and, prospects are strange in baseball. Like you can acquire someone who's ready to kind of, maybe you have a very specific eye on prospects that are, even if they're not considered like super high value prospects, maybe they're guys that are closer to pitching in the MLB if they haven't already, you know what I mean? And then you have that, that element of control for a few years and all that other stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's got to be some changes. I haven't really looked. I've looked a little bit at free agency this winter and how that could help shape things for the Phillies. Provided that money is moved, yeah, like you gotta, you gotta reinvest that money somewhere. So, and I would like to see some trades. As you mentioned, like Stott and Bohm and those guys. I'm a bigger Alec Bohm fan, I think, than some others.
So he was fairly solid this season. I'll give him his flowers for that. He was a really good player. My problem with him, and I think I might have mentioned on the show last week, is like you talk about guys that aren't built to play in an environment like Citizens Bank Park in October. And I think Castellanos is one of those guys. I don't think he's built for the moment and playing in a market like this. And with some of the comments we've heard from Bohm, I don't know that Bohm is that guy either.
Yeah.
I worry about it mentally with him.
Yeah. He does show a lot of like, if he's frustrated,
yeah,
it's very evident. You know what I mean? And Castellanos is always kind of the same, I feel like, in terms of like his outward demeanor.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, like that's something definitely that you have to think about. And I think that depending on this club's view of where they're headed, I think that you would want to, like, if you're going to shake some things up, you mentioned guys like Bregman and all, you would want guys with some experience in October. And in order to kind of, again, take the next step. So, yeah, I mean, there's going to have to be some things done here. We've been talking about that. So hopefully they follow through with that. The Rob Thompson stuff is, I would have made a change at manager just to have a different voice, I think.
Yep. And if I'm John Middleton and Dombrowski doesn't want to fire him, I'm sorry, Dave, you don't want to do it. I'm going to get rid of you too. I'm going to find the next. Like, I would have got rid of both of them if I was Middleton.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to bring Rob Thompson back. Zero.
Yeah, I would have looked at an entire like if they're going to go with different hitting coach and
Just
some
be
of
a
the
different
other.
voice altogether.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that's what I mean. Like I would just kind of clear it out and just bring in an entire fresh staff. And hope that makes a difference. But yeah, so far, I mean, now you got me thinking about them potentially announcing an extension. Now I can't shake that thought.
Listen, I don't want to put that into the environment, into the universe, but like
the universe,
it's the Phillies we're talking about.
Yeah. That's what's crazy too. It's like depending on how old you are,
Mhm,
that Ryan Kirkering moment was definitely a gut punch, right?
mhm.
But that might not even be like top 3 all time like most gut punch Philly moments historically. Um,
Right.
you know, 1964 Phillies were that was pretty awful, falling apart down the stretch.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
Mitch Williams,
Yeah.
'93,
Yep.
the World Series with the Blue Jays. I mean, there's some awful moments like
Mhm.
that. So as awful,
Ryan Howard's Achilles snapping in half on field and watching
yeah,
the entire era of the Phillies go down the drain in that exact moment.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know if you could put that in the top 3 as bad as it
Yeah.
was,
Right. Yeah.
So life of a Phillies fan, but,
Yep.
uh, yeah, I mean,
But listen, as bad as it was, it was the Phillies were basically they couldn't hit. I mean, the one run, and that run was caused, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that run basically caused because of an error? The run that they got, I think it was a throwing error at first that removed the runner to second, and then they drove that run in by I think
oh,
Castellanos. So
yeah,
the only run they had was basically caused because of an error happened, and like that, an 11 innings, like there's nobody hit at all,
yeah.
and that's been the same song and dance really over the last couple of years. Like they're just the bats really since the Diamondback series a couple of years ago, like they just haven't done a thing in the playoffs.
Yeah, and you know, that's also a part of it. It's like, yeah, Kurt, we had said just earlier, like Kirk Ring's gonna hold the bag for what happened there.
Mhm.
But I mean, like, if we're being honest, do
Okay.
we really think they were gonna push another run across
No.
to win that game? Like, if it wasn't that, you know what I mean? It was gonna be something else, because like they couldn't. They brought the Dodgers brought Sasuke in and made him
Mhm.
look like prime Mariano.
I know.
Like
Yep.
it just like they had just no idea how to hit
No.
this guy.
Yeah.
And
The Phillies would have had to take that into like the 18th, 19th inning because they just weren't going to ever score a run again.
just outlast them.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Whoever's the last to die wins this game.
Yeah, just a little rope a dope
Yes.
action there.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh, another coaching mistake that I think is, I mean, Luzardo was dealing, and once he starts throwing the pitches that he was throwing, count wise, you realize, hey, he's not going to be. If there is a game 5, he's not going to be available for game 5. So I would have just emptied the tank there. I don't think there was any reason to put Kirkering in the game in that moment. There was like I get it, the bases were loaded, I guess at that point. Um, but it was the 9 batter, and there was 2 outs. Like, you just needed one more out to get past that inning.
right.
And I think Lazardo should have been the one to try to finish that.
Yeah. 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 Especially too. I mean, not that Kirkring did get the weak contact ground ball, but
Mm,
Pajas had not hit at all in that
no.
series,
Yep.
and he had a really good year for the Dodgers. And you know, same thing too. Again, where looking at it, it's like, and like they kept Botani in check. You
He didn't
know,
do anything. I think he was 1 for, I don't know, 16 or something crazy.
yeah, yeah, and he looked like he was guessing up there.
Mhm.
So
And that's the other thing we could talk about is in the 7th inning, walking Otani to get the bases loaded,
yeah,
and then you walk in a run. To me,
right,
I completely forgot about it because the Orion Kirkering stuff happened. The
yeah,
Phillies should have won this game 1-0 because there's no reason to walk Shohei Otani in that spot. Zero.
yeah,
He's 1 for 12 or whatever it was with 9 strikeouts. I understand it's Shohei Otani, but he's in a slump. You have to learn to feel for the game, and it's not like you're walking him to get to this 8th hitter. Like you're
right,
walking him to get to Mookie Betts, and Mookie Betts, credit to him, worked the walk.
yeah,
He was really good at bat. There was some borderline pitches, and Mookie just kind of just beat Duran.
right.
So yeah, it's just that to me was a colossal mistake walking Otani.
I mean, yeah, it's like you live and die by it. I mean, I think people would at least, if stepping back from it, uh, if Otani would have came through in that moment, had they pitched to him, it's like, well, he's Shohei Otani. He's going to do those things.
Yeah, but at that point, you tip your cap and you say, "All right, you beat me."
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
you just like, hey, he's one of the best in the game,
Yep.
but he hadn't done anything up to this point, so we're going to go at him. I think Phillies fans would have appreciated the kind of like get after it kind of
Yeah.
mentality,
Hmm.
especially in a playoff game. But either way, it's always a double edged sword. You're going to
Sure.
have it's how it goes. It's a part of it, but
Sure. And if they get bets out, then everybody's saying, "Oh, it was a smart move walking Otani." So it's
yeah. So
I think there's more that can go wrong in that situation if you walk Otani, like the walk, like it opens the
right,
door for, hey, you have to be perfect against bets.
yeah, right, yeah. Like and it's not like too like I mean Betts had been better than
Yep.
Otani in that
Sure.
series, and it goes to that point that you're making about having a feel for what's going on in the series, regardless
Mhm.
of what the numbers may say and all. It's great to have all that information, but sometimes you have to make like a call, you know, uh, just based on what's happening right now in front of you.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that gets a little muddled with, all the things we hear about like, well, the analytics say this. Well, it's like, it depends on when you're applying them in what situation, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And uh, so that's a part of it too. But it all runs together for me right now. I mean, much like like I've mentally blocked so much of it.
Mhm.
Like,
I mean, that's kind of a good segue because I've pretty much blocked out the entire Eagles game from that same night.
oh God,
Because like the full transparency, we can kind of get into kind of Eagles talk a little bit, but like I didn't watch a second of the game until the Phillies game was over,
uh,
and at that point, the Eagles were already down pretty big, and I just kind of checked out. So
yeah,
I can't. I'm not really equipped to talk much about that game. It sounds like they just got beat. They were banged up. Jalen Carter didn't play. The offenses look stale again. They really just can't run the ball at this point. They have no ability to do it. When it would be an insane thing to even think a year ago when Saquon is the MVP of the league or one
yeah.
or the MVP candidate at least.
I had the multiple screens going,
Hmm.
so um, I was paying attention to that too, and just kind of like looking around with the Eagles in the beginning of that game, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the
Yeah.
like?
Yep. Mhm.
I
The
couldn't believe
Giants
like they
lost it.
looked unprepared
Yep.
for that game, and we've kind of alluded to it on shows in the past here over the last couple of weeks, but like you said about not being able to run the ball, this offensive line is becoming a major issue.
Yep.
The Eagles in the trenches on both sides of the line of scrimmage. They're not getting any pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Dart made several chunk plays, just sliced them up.
Hmm.
Not only did they not have Jalen Carter, but then they lost Quayon Mitchell in that game,
Yep.
and which I'm pretty sure he's okay now, or he's scheduled to be okay, I think. Um, but yeah, I mean that game just looked.
I mean, it was so bad. Zadarius Smith said, "I'm out. I'm retired." Like, what is that?
Yeah, that game done
What
did it.
is going on here?
I had a friend of mine text me about that, and he was like, "Well, there goes our best pass rusher." Like,
Yeah. Like what?
like
We already can't rush the passer.
yeah.
One guy
So
that was like half decent at it is gone.
yeah, so uh, that becomes a problem,
Yep.
you know. Um,
Like it's at the point where do you try to trade for a guy like Trey Hendrickson, or do you just kind of call this year a wash almost?
you're right. Yeah, I mean, remember like a month ago, we were kind of like flirting with the Trey Hendrickson
Mhm.
talk. We were like, "Oh, that's kind of interesting and all," but there was real no. Now it
Well,
feels like it could actually happen
yeah.
because they
Although
really.
now, like I mean, you're almost halfway through the season at this point. Like you can't there. You won't have to give up that much for him. I don't think. like a third round pick. You think I get like second round pick maybe? Like I'm
Yeah.
not paying more than that
Yeah.
for 9 games of Trey Hendrickson or whatever it'll end up being.
We did look at like trades of like players
Yeah,
like that,
yep.
and there were they draw pretty good hauls, I
Yeah.
think. But I mean, if you're the Eagles and you think like you have a window open kind of
Mhm.
thing, I have little to no problem with ponying up for what Cincinnati's looking for.
Yeah.
Uh,
Although I
it-
guess the window argument to that question is kind of the big one. Is like, do you
Right.
think they with adding Trey Hendrickson, does it make you any closer to winning another Super Bowl? And right now, with this offense, I don't know that it does, to be honest.
yeah, it's a hard. Yeah, I'm not sure because it's been such a mixed bag to this point. Offensively for the Eagles. So I don't know. Like I don't think it pushes them over the top, but it kind of if it can make a difference in terms of like just putting some pressure on the opposing quarterback, I think you know beyond looking at that big picture because I would imagine the Eagles are under the impression that um, because they're coming off a championship that they're capable of that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm sure they would operate under the assumption like, hey, we have some things we have to shore up, and the offensive line's been nicked up this year, and I think they would run with that, like
hmm
a Trey Hendrickson trade. Hey, that shores up an issue we have. We think we can fix the O line internally.
Yeah.
I think that would be at least their thought
Oh,
process.
yeah. I think that's fair. But as a fan, I just don't know that I see it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that was bad, and doesn't get any easier this coming Sunday with going to Minnesota.
Well, I mean, might see once. I don't think
We might see him.
they haven't announced if he's coming. If McCarthy's coming back. Well, I mean, we'll see.
He looked good in London.
Yeah.
He
Not
kind of
too
looked
bad.
good.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yeah. It's gonna be real. It's gonna be real sad when we watch like Carson Wentz torch Eagles for 450 yards on Sunday.
I'll quit this podcast.
Uh oh. The stakes are high.
If we get diced up by
I mean, the defense is banged up. Like, who's playing cornerback? Like,
you,
yeah, right.
I-
Are they going to finally bring Gardner Johnson in again, who just got released by the Ravens practice squad because of some communication error? Like, he's a disaster, walking disaster. But are they going to bring him in?
no man. Him and Vangio might get in a fist fight if he
might.
brings him.
Yeah,
Vangio might walk in and quit.
yeah.
He might go to Howie's office, be like, "What
I'm
are you
out.
doing around this guy?" And I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out of
I'm
here. Like,
I mean, listen, we already got players walking out midseason. Another coach, whatever, wouldn't shock me.
yeah,
Would not shock me.
yeah, we're not that far away from Miami level guys just missing meetings,
Yeah.
pretending meetings didn't happen. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't.
And maybe we'll have a player pull an Antonio Brown and just like strip mid game and say I'm out. At least make it entertaining.
That would be great.
And just watch AJ Brown just take off his gear and just say peace.
That was so crazy
Nuts. It's insane.
when he did that.
Yeah. But he's a whack job, so
Yeah, he has it. Yeah, he's been on that since he did that.
yeah.
You see him online. He acts like a nut.
I don't think people give Tomlin the credit he deserves that he he was able to keep that under wraps.
Yeah,
How psychotic of a guy that guy is.
yeah. Well, remember, he did for a long time, and
Yep.
then he threw that Power Rangers type kick.
At the kicker.
Yeah, when he just stomped him.
Yeah. Yep.
I feel like it was all downhill after that. I don't.
It was really all downhill after was it Vontaze Burfict that like killed him?
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Yeah, and his head hasn't been the same since.
Yeah, it hasn't. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of stuff that feels, they're 4-2, right? And it's like, but it feels like a lot of this stuff is kind of like bubbling under the surface kind of thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's some issues here. They could get really bad if they're not taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're just kind of hoping, like, I don't know, something seems off about it. I mean, like, we've seen at times the offense look explosive. At times we've seen them look really dormant. Um, there's the odd AJ Brown thing going on. Like, they can't run the football. Then there's the corners are an issue on the other side of the on the defensive side, and so on and so forth. So it feels like there's a lot of issues bubbling under the surface with all of this. Like, they are defending champions on top of all that. So it's a strange year so far.
Yeah, it is. Are you want to do your picks?
Yeah, let's do the picks.
Let's do it. So a little recap. Last week, I went 3-2. Dom went 2-3. You went 1-4.
Yeah, I
Bring-
had that week.
Bringing our totals to. I'm in first right now with 18-12. Usually, I'm like well below 500, so I'm impressed I'm doing this well this year.
Okay.
I'm 18-12. You are 17-13, and Dom is 12-18.
Okay.
So,
All right.
all right. So let's start week 7. Listen, I'll be honest. I did this earlier, like maybe an hour or two before we hopped on here, and I don't like a single line this week. I thought they all sucked. They all confused me. I didn't know where to go. So I think this is the week I could go like 0-5.
Well, I appreciate you taking the hour before. Usually you're doing them as we're
That's
recording here. I'm reading mine.
That
So
is true.
comparatively speaking, you are actually quite prepared for this.
Yes. Which is why I'll go 0-5 here. So I have the Bucks and the Lions. That should be a good game. I think it's Sunday Night Football too. I got the Bucks plus 5.5. I think the Bucks are like legit.
Yeah.
I have the Texans and the Seahawks. I have the Seahawks minus 3.5. I have the Patriots and the Titans. Patriots, the worst team in football. I don't think it's close. Patriots minus 7. And then I have the Panthers and the Jets under 42.5. And then I have the Colts and the Chargers over 48.5.
Okay. So I also have the Seahawks and Texans. I have the Hawks at minus 3.5.
Okay.
I'm all aboard the Danny Dimes train. I got the Colts over the Chargers plus 1.5, taking Indy on the road against the Chargers.
That's plus 1.5.
Plus 1.5.
Okay. Danny Dimes. Rejuvenating his whole career, huh?
Yeah. Having a great year.
Yep.
And I have the Jaguars and Rams. I have the Jags at plus 3 over the Rams.
Okay. Jags have been playing good.
Yeah. I kind of like what I've seen from them. That game the other night against the Chiefs, I liked what I saw. So I'm going to go with the Jags. Then I have Commanders and Cowboys under 54.5, which I thought was super, super high.
That is high
for that game. And I have the Eagles and the Vikings over 43.5.
Okay.
In a Jalen versus Carson shootout.
So you have Wentz playing.
Yeah.
It would be fun, I guess.
Yeah.
It would be fun. All right, so Dom didn't send his picks out. I don't have his with me, so
Damn it, Dom.
we'll get him beforehand. So the only really other thing I want to talk about tonight is obviously Flyer season underway. 1-1-1. I don't even know where to take this. I'm so like annoyed with that we have to talk about how poor of a start Matvey Michkov has had this season. Like, he's a great talent, and one of the more exciting things about the future of this Flyers team. And right now, and listen, I could go down a whole rabbit hole of complaining about Tocchet, which I don't want to do. But at the same time, Michkov hasn't done himself any favors and has been downright bad.
Yeah. I thought, the game in Carolina right before the home opener over the weekend, he
Mhm.
legitimately he legitimately played poorly
Yep.
in that game. He didn't see the ice in overtime,
Yep.
and I understood why he didn't see the ice in
Yeah.
overtime. Um, and then on the heels of this, there's this, there's the spitting chicklets thing
Hmm.
where they said on their show, Ryan Whitney and Paul Bissonnette and that whole crew there, very plugged in, as we know,
Hmm.
but said, Mitch Kofsing came into camp out of shape or whatever the terminology was. I don't know exactly what they said. Um, and, it's like then Tocchet refutes that and said, like, he's had an ankle problem, which would certainly, uh, you know, limit his skating ability, obviously. So maybe that has something to do with it, depending on the severity of the ankle
The
injury.
the weird part about it is, why are we just hearing about that now? Like,
Well,
why?
that's
It's all through training camp. They could have said that information.
yeah, and he looked good in training camp.
Right. Yeah.
So if he was he not well, was he in shape in training camp and then had
Right.
what I mean? Uh, and then somehow not become in shape when the season started. I don't know how that works. But I really don't like I'm not super, super concerned with that. I think like Michkov is a special, special player. Once that ankle gets healed up, we'll all know it because he'll be making plays,
Yeah.
and so I don't think Tocchet is going to be running him, sitting him like he's been sitting him if there wasn't something else going on there.
Mhm.
Uh,
And he already said today he has zero plans of like benching him for a game. He's not going to healthy scratch him. He's going to let him play through it.
right,
So
and there's a perspective too, like from a guy who, for all intents and purposes, was a great player at one time. Like Tocchet
mhm.
was a great player in his own right. So I think he understands whatever it is that Matt Vey's dealing with right now. He gets it, and that's part of like what I think makes him a good fit for this job at this point, because the previous regime did not have that.
Mm.
So I think I'm not super concerned about that. Like with the Michkov thing, we're 3 games in. I have no worries about his point. The points coming; they will come for him. He's just he's too talented for them not to start coming, um, and he'll be one of those he'll be one of those guys where he'll get on the score sheet one night and then the floodgates will open
Yeah.
and he'll start doing it every night again. So
I really, and this is where I'm going to start to complain about Dockett, is and listen, I understand Sean Couturier had a really good game, really good home opener, 4 points, almost had the hat trick. Like, I get it.
yeah,
I need Matvey Michkov away from Sean. Like, I need Michkov with somebody who's creative. Like, in my opinion, that was kind of the reason to bring in Zegras, have them play together. I understand defensively that could be an issue. Maybe put a Dvorak or Kate, somebody next to them, they could kind of make it happen and help defensively. But I like Michkov and Zegras should be together, in my opinion.
I've said this. I said this in the summertime, I think too, on our Drunk on Broad shows, the Drunk on Ice shows I've done with
Mhm.
Don Conaway and all. And um, I am completely on board with a Michkov Zegras connecting line.
Mhm.
Defense be damned. Go
Balls to the
get
wall.
yeah,
Yeah.
go get the points, go fill the net. I
Best
and
defense is a good offense.
yeah. and then if you have to offset that by making two checking lines,
Yep.
elsewhere, then do that. You know
Yep.
what I mean? I don't have much of an issue with that, provided like this team desperately needs that. See, like you look at a play on, I think it was the go-ahead goal against Florida in the home opener. That great play Travis Egers makes behind the net, draws the two defenders. He ducks under the contact. I think from Sam Bennett it was. He gets that
And
puck
Bennett was
out
one
front,
of the two guys that was, yeah.
and Couturier finishes that play, and that is the type of skill and
Yep.
play creation that this team has missed
hmm
for the last couple of years. So,
It's one of the most ridiculous passes I've ever seen.
oh man, it had everybody kind of just puck watching,
Yeah.
because I don't think anybody thought that he was going to even attempt to do that.
And you have two big, nasty Florida Panthers, coming at you full speed, ready to pound you against the boards.
Yeah,
And you're just where the puck is, and you throw it right to Sean Couturier. Now, whether he knew Couturier was there or not, like you're gonna say, of course he did because it worked out.
yeah.
But it was an insane pass.
It's
In that
just
spot.
too. It's like even if you're not sure if he's there, right? It's just the often it's the hockey sense to just get the puck in a dangerous
The
area.
instinct, yeah.
Yeah, the instinct to get the puck to a dangerous area, and they've missed that. They need more guys like that, and I think that could be really fun if they're willing to try it. I know Tockett's a little bit more defensive conscious, like he
Mhm.
thinks about that, and that's part of why Dvorak's on the wing right now with guys and like trying to offset some of the responsibility, so to speak.
Oh, speaking of Dvorak, one of the most selfish things I've ever seen in my life, him tipping that goal. Him tipping the empty net goal, taking it away from Sanheim. There's no reason to do that. What's he doing?
That was hilarious, and I wanted to. I didn't see it anywhere, but I wanted to see if someone asked Sanheim because
Yeah,
they had an exchange where they both were laughing. So I wanted to know what was said between the
yeah,
two of them there. I don't know why, especially too. Like you tip a puck like that at empty net, you could tip it wide, like you could miss
yeah,
it.
yeah, right. Just let it go.
Yeah, just let it go. It's going in.
Yeah,
But that was hilarious. It was a fun home opener. There's a lot of action in that game.
sure, yep.
And Dan Vladar has been excellent
Mhm.
here through his first two starts. It would be so great if the Flyers could find like you know, a, a goaltender who was signed under the radar that could actually give them one of those ridiculous goalie seasons we see
Yeah.
other places.
I mean, right now he's your number one, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's fine. Like I think that helps.
And for what it's worth, I thought Sam was pretty good in the game against he was Carolina, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's pretty good.
I didn't think he was a problem at all in that game. I
Yeah.
didn't hold him responsible for any of those. I don't think he could do anything on it. Most of those plays, uh, including the game winner, which is like a cross east west kind of play, and
Which came like 30 seconds after the Flyers got theirs taken away. What
after
was
the Flyers actually won the game.
Yeah, I'm curious because obviously Flyers fans are up in arms about it. I didn't have a problem with it as much as I think the consensus of the fan base did. What was your take on that penalty or that the goalie interference call?
I think it's a goal. Like I think that's a goal there. It looked like to me that Freddie Anderson had created that contact.
Mhm.
I understand Zanheim is in the blue paint or
Yep.
close to it, but these goalies are they're a lot smarter than people
Yeah.
give them credit for here. These
Sure.
guys really know how to manipulate the contact. I think that's becoming a thing now where you see a goalie's glove get moved, someone kind of not even in the blue paint but kind of skating through
Yeah.
the slot. It alters their glove a little bit. They make sure the referee sees it. Puck goes in the net. Oh, he hit my glove.
Yep.
It's so. I thought Anderson had created that contact, and I think, but again, it's the discretion of the referee. Those rules kind of they're open to interpretation
Mhm.
in some That's why there's such an inconsistency, I think,
Yeah.
across the league with those goalie interference calls. Is because really, at the end of the day, even with you're on the horn with Toronto, looking at it, I still think like ultimately it comes down to what was called on the ice and what it's getting reviewed for. And but I thought they should have won that game. I thought that was clean. I think it kind of looked like Freddie because he ended up on his stomach
Hmm.
after he didn't run into him like.
No.
So I don't know how that happens without a little bit of a flop there.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Yeah, I think as soon as you enter into the crease, I don't think they care who initiated. They're telling people, they're telling players stay out of the crease. That's simple.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fair. That's fair. But they got a busy week here coming up, the Flyers, and
mhm.
a lot of home games. So we'll see how they fare in those games.
They play Thursday, right?
Yep, Thursday and then Saturday,
Okay.
two home games.
Yep.
Jets and Wild, I think, are coming to town.
It's a tough stretch to start the season. Florida twice, Carolina, Winnipeg, Minnesota. Like that's a tough handful of games to start the season.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I mean, you see Florida twice,
Hmm.
and which actually I think is actually not that bad considering they're down Barkov and Kachuk's not playing, and
Yep.
um, I think sometimes it's better to catch those teams early,
Yeah.
before they get their sea legs, so to speak. And but yeah, no, it is undoubtedly a tough stretch, and we'll get a look at on Saturday. I mean, the highest paid player in the league, Kirill Kaprizov,
Yep.
and we should see Lachenko versus Buyum too, which will
Okay.
be which will be fun. Um, two former first round picks, guys that were met with a lot of fanfare and
Yep.
discussion.
Absolutely.
Their draft
You're not
years.
you're not lying.
So
Um and then the Sixers, I guess their season's kind of starting soon. We'll, when that happens, we'll talk about it. I think the city's kind of real low on the Sixers right now.
yeah, it looks like Embiid. There's talk Embiid might be playing in this preseason game coming
We'll
up.
we'll see what happens. It's,
He might be ready to play.
yeah, who can I be honest? Like, who cares?
He played in the scrimmage. I
Talk
wrote about
yeah.
that.
Talk
Uh,
to me and talk to me in March and let's see where he's at.
yeah, hopefully put together
Yeah.
uh, and not by tape and surgical glue and all that
Although I
good
guess now
stuff.
it doesn't even, I was just say get to March, see what happens, but like getting to the March part, I guess is the tough part because they just missed the playoffs last year. So
Yeah, and the way things had kind of shaken out over the offseason and stuff, um, the East is kind of wide open. Like it's not like hyperbole to be like the Sixers should be a playoff team, even with um, having Embiid for a little bit less than half the season if that ends up being the case. Um, Tatum's down in Boston. Tyrese Halliburton's down in Indiana.
are they both
I'm
done
not.
for the season?
I think. I think they'll be back, but
Yeah.
they're gonna miss a large chunk of the
Yeah.
season. It sounds like Tatum's ahead of schedule a little bit.
Okay.
Last I read, but I'm not really quite sure about New York or Milwaukee. So it's kind of like it's you know Atlanta should be better. The Magic are kind of a trendy pick to be good this year. Um, of course, Cleveland should be good again. But I mean, like it's kind of open in the Eastern Conference, so it's like, why not the Sixers? And at least to get in and maybe kind of make some noise if they have a group that's kind of. It's going to be another thing I had said on the Drunk on Broad show this past weekend, which is on the website. You should go check it out if you haven't seen that. I did that over the weekend,
Yep.
and uh, it kind of looks like I had said on that show, like this is a big year for like Nick Nurse in particular to see how he kind of manages all this,
Hmm.
because they kind of have two different cores. They have like a good young core of players, and then they have like another core that's like a lot of these like veteran Latin guys that have been hurt a lot and stuff. So it'll be, if he can get them into the playoffs and if they win a round or make some noise when they get there, I think you'd have to consider Nick Nurse as like a coach of the year candidate if he could, get that team running in the right direction again.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Believe it when I say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you are right. There's the two different cores, and then you have Tyrese Maxey in the middle of it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Obviously, McCain's out for. He's gonna be out for a little while, right?
I think he's going to be missing some time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got to worry, like, is he a guy that's just gonna break down a lot? Like, it's year 2 and he's already dealing its second injury back-to-back season.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. He needs the reps, obviously.
Yep.
He needs to be out there. It kind of sounds like there's interest in kind of going like the Sixers kind of running lineups when eventually he's ready, to kind of go Maxey, McCain, Edgecombe in like a smaller lineup. And that could be fun, if there could be some shooting and some athleticism there, and some scoring potential, and so I'm interested to see how that plays out. But this is really kind of provided guys are going to get healthy or they're on track to be healthy and play somewhat this year. I think it'll be interesting to see how Nick Nurse handles that. I think I do believe Nick Nurse is a good coach. I thought he was a good coach when they got him. I don't know what else he could have done differently.
The season just kind of got away from them, and there really wasn't much. I think that he was at fault for.
Yeah, right. As far as like lineups and matchups and things like that, I mean, we all complain about coaches and decisions like that. You know what I mean? Like we were just talking about Tocchet. It kind of comes with just watching these teams night in and night out. You kind of look at that, but that's small. It's minute stuff, I think, in the grand scheme of things. But the big picture, I think, this should be an interesting and challenging year for Nurse, but I think he's definitely up for it. I think he's capable of it, certainly.
Yeah. Yep. All right, you got anything else you want to talk about or touch on before we get out of here?
No, I don't think so. I know that I believe also Saturday is MLS Decision Day, which is the last day of the season. The Union will be getting ready for the playoffs soon.
Okay.
And I'll have some stuff for the website when we get more clarity on
You'll have to fill us in because I don't know if you know, I'm not a big like soccer guy.
Yeah. I wasn't either, and my fiance's actually, she was the one that kind of got me into it.
Really? Okay.
And because she played growing up and stuff, and was going to a lot of MLS games. She took me to my first MLS game.
Really?
That's and cool. We went, and I was like, "This is awesome."
I hear the environment's incredible down there.
You should go up and check out.
I hear it's great.
And the fan base is super, super passionate. They're very loyal, and they're all really good. They're all really good people. I've met a couple fans and stuff like that, and they're all really cool. So
yeah, and I hear it's great down there. I'll have to make my way down there at some point.
Yeah.
So all right, we're gonna get out of here. Like us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or X, whatever. Should we just say X? I should say it's X, right?
Yeah, you could say X. I'm always saying Twitter. I never say X, but everybody knows where it is.
Subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And we will see everybody next Tuesday. See you then.